This is Monday with the Mayor on 18 WJTS. Bill Potter in Huntingburg, Indiana, as we talk with Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spinner. A lot of things always going on in Huntingburg.
Absolutely.
One thing we want people to keep listening is at the end we're going to talk about the Needy Assistance Fund.
Correct.
That'll be the last thing we talk about today. Let's start with recently the new bypass is open, the railroad bypass, and I took it just for fun. It's a nice road.
Yes, we're very. That's a project that it was just historically was a long project coming. Been discussed in Huntingburg for more than 50 years. I can say I think County Council President Jerry Hunefeld was there at the opening. As the county and the city were partners in the local funding on that, and Councilman Hunefeld mentioned that when he was in high school at Holland, that they talked about this overpass coming to Huntingburg, and Councilman Hunefeld has served over 40 years on the council, so we'll just put it. We'll just leave it right there. So it has been long discussed, and it has been. We opened it in mid-November. And it has been. I've gotten very, very positive feedback. The old adage that you know, if you were late to a meeting in Huntingburg, you could always use the excuse that I had a train go through, and you'd have to accept it. But that's no longer acceptable.
Right.
But it is, and again, the primary purpose of the overpass is for public safety. I've had 2 or 3 individuals approach me since we've opened that and have personally testified that they have had themselves or a loved one be on the wrong side of the tracks during an emergency at some time in their lives. And now that problem is somewhat alleviated, that if there is a long train going through town and there is a need for emergency services, that barrier is no longer there. You can take the bypass, the overpass, and get around it. So that is the primary reason why the project is there, and it is a local solution to a problem here. But beyond that, I know I've had others who are out of convenience traveling have also mentioned that it does make a difference. Yesterday, I had my first experience of actually using the overpass while there were a train going through town, and it was very simple. It was a nice, easy, small detour to get to my destination, and it did kept traffic moving in the downtown, which is an important thing. There's times when the traffic backs up and it just gets stalemated in town. So we do have a nice solution there. And the one thing that I do want to mention, I know when we opened the new overpass, the main intersection, the traffic that comes on 14th Street now, folks are being directed to use 14th Street when there is a train using the tracks. So the 14th and Chestnut Street intersection is a very busy intersection. Chestnut is one of our major north-south streets that people use on a regular basis. And as this overpass was coming in, it was decided to make that 4-way stop at that intersection of 14th and Chestnut because we wanted people to be used to stopping in that area as they came to 14th and Chestnut. Now the intent is for 14th Street, since it is the access point to the bypass, to be the through street. So we created the 4-way stop just so everyone would stop to kind of get used to the new traffic pattern. We'll be sending out a news release this week from City Hall. The plan is over the weekend, the stop signs on 14th Street will be removed, and it will be a through street, and the Chestnut will be the stop street only. So just be aware of that pattern change. It has been a 4-way stop for about a month, just to get everyone used to making everyone stop. But the intent from the beginning is for 14th to be completely through. So if you turn on 14th and you approach the bypass, you will have a through drive, and that will happen sometime in this next week. Again, we'll have a news release on the actual date, but sometime over the weekend will probably be where that change happens. Just be very cautious. Even if you're on the through street, you might want to be aware. Kind of watch the traffic because it is a traffic change, and just be aware of that. Again, public safety is the #1 concern. So let's just be safe and continue to use the overpass as it's intended.
And you've been doing some great things with the grant for renovating homes.
Right.
Can you talk about that?
We will be applying for a $350,000 grant from the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority for an owner-occupied rehabilitation project. This was brought to us. It's an annual program from IHCDA, and they did some work on identifying a home. How many homes would be available in Huntingburg for such a project? If we are successful in this grant, which is going in at the end of this month, we would be receiving up to $350,000. And it would go directly to rehabilitation, safety issues, making homes more safe, more secure, more warm as they come through. And individuals can apply have been applying for those grants. We had 2 days of grant applications at the Teen Outback, and we received 22 applications. So those will be part of the process when we go to IHCDA seeking the funding. The city is putting money towards that match as a local match to make this program happen as well. We don't know if we're going to get the grant or not. It depends. It's scored against other applications from across the state as well, but we feel we're in a good position to do that. The goal was to have at least 14 applications because based on the amount of funding that was to be received and how much the typical cost is for this owner-occupied rehabilitation, they were thinking about 14 homes would bring us to use the money that was available. But we do have 22 applications. As my understanding is, if we are successful, they'll start with the home designated as having the most need and begin working with those through the list. We may be able to affect 14 homes. We may be able to affect more, depending on the amount of spent in each home. There will be home inspections. There will be the whole thing will be is a program that has been run very successful in neighboring counties, and the group that is Southern Indiana Development is running this program for us. Very experienced in this. And so we'll be probably hearing in March whether or not we receive that grant, but the final application will be going in. And I think it's a good way to, there are people who have a desire to improve their living situation, but just don't have the means. Mm-hmm. And hopefully this is a way that we can help those people stay in their homes, be safe, be secure, and really bring up the value of their home as well at the same time. So I think it's a very good investment, and I'm very pleased that the council has been very supportive of this. And it'll bring, even if it's 14 or 15 homes, those are 14 or 15 families that are going to be able to stay in their home and have a safer, more livable space. And again, this work that's being done is not cosmetic. It's things like furnaces and roofs, and it's not just paint and cosmetic. It's real need of the families to make their home a much more livable space.
This is the holiday season,
right?
And with this being the holiday season, Huntingburg has always run a needy assistance fund. As a matter of fact, WBDC does a cornhole tournament to make a little bit of money out of that. But people can make donations now. Right.
The Huntingburg Assistance Fund has been in place for over 20 years. It was started by the city several decades ago, and it's basically to provide need-based services to organizations that that do that for them. So the money is granted out to various organizations that help those in need across our community. And again, we've had nonprofits apply for that, and there will be a choices of who's going to receive those grants when we know the money is in. They receive a maximum of $2,500, so we try to spread it out amongst several different organizations. But we have a great, it's a tradition here in Huntingburg. I know that some letters went out from the mayor's office saying this is the time to donate. That list went to those who have traditionally done so, and without a doubt, we get responses from those folks as they come back. But if you would like to donate to that, want to be a part of that fund, again, it's a very good cause. You can make your donation through the Du Bois County Community Foundation. The foundation runs the grant. You can call the foundation. You can send a check to Post Office Box 269, marked for Huntingburg Assistance Fund, or you can go on their website, which is dccommunityfoundation.org, and find a link to make that donation. If you have any questions, you can either call the foundation at 482-5295. or Rachel Steckler here at City Hall, who's our Community Development Director, 683-2211. This is the time of year where people are thinking about that giving as year end comes around at Christmas time. This is one of the most wonderful way our community comes together to support those that are in need. It's been very successful in the past, and I expect it to be a great response again. And if that's something that you're interested in helping out your fellow citizens here in Huntingburg with those types of needs, we would encourage you to consider that as a way to add to your giving at the end of the year.
And this will be the last show I think we have with you before
you got
Christmas.
The Christmas tie on. Yeah, I should have worn my ugly sweater.
Of course, we'll be talking.
Friday's ugly sweater day at City Hall.
Oh, that's what we should have come back. That's what we should have come back for that reason. This is a chance for you to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Right. Well, it's again, this is a time of year where everybody is extremely busy and extremely a lot of things going on in the community around us. But it's also a great time to reflect on how blessed we are as a community. And I just would like to extend a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of our citizens and all those who support Huntingburg in so many ways. We've been blessed this year. It's been a wonderful year for our city. And I just want to thank all of you who've made this a wonderful year for us and wish you the best in this happy time of year.
All right. Well, Mayor, thank you very much for talking with us today. We have been in Huntingburg at Huntingburg City Hall talking with Mayor Denny Spinner of Huntingburg. Thank you for joining us for Monday with the Mayor. News will continue on 18 WJTS.